Alright, we've got 12 people. Hello everyone. If you're just joining the stream, feel free to skip forward to the race. I'm just getting everything sorted. I won't be too long. Still only 12, so still waiting a few. Hi Rick. Paste it there. Okay. Right. So we've only got 12 in. Should be 3 more. So I'm not sure who's missing. Let's see. Harry Bix is missing. James McCroy is missing. Okay, well, that's KTFO and James McCrow. So I think we're just missing Harry Bix. Yeah, it's just Harry Bix. Zubo and Kylo are both in. Zubo in? Wait, Zubo isn't in. Does that mean he's the one we're missing? I can't see Harry Bix either, that doesn't make sense. Oh, of course, I haven't selected spectator, that's why, obviously. Okay, so Harry Bix and Zubo we're waiting for. Oh, Zuba says he's joining during quali, okay. So we're waiting for Harry Bix. Hi Rick. I'm alright, I'm looking forward to this race. Should be a good one. It's a shame we don't have the numbers that we had last week, but it's not too bad. I'm just going to do one last check of the settings. So I don't do a Dave. Definitely on Brazil. Strict on, reduced on. Yep, it's all good. Hi Jacko. Simulation settings. Realistic, standard, standard, hard, manual, on. It's all good. Weather is on dynamic. Assist restrictions. Got traction control on. Racing line on. ABS on. It's all good. Wait, is manual gearbox on? Or auto gearbox? Yes, it is good. Well, yeah, more points. Fewer there are, more points there are. If you finish. I wonder where QB is today. He's normally here for races. That's all good. Rules and flags. Switch on. Yep. Okay. I don't think I've done a Dave. I think all the settings are right. Harry Bix is in. So we're waiting for Zuba, but Zuba isn't coming until midway through qualifying. We've got I mean, we've got this Wesley guy who thinks he can join, but I think he's a bit late. Okay, I think we're ready to go. Thanks, Sumo. I appreciate it, man. Sorry you can't be here, but I'll do my best in your absence. This Wesley guy is getting a bit impatient, but I think he's a bit late. Okay, I think we're ready to go, so I'm going to tell them to ready up. I can't help but like double, triple, quadruple check because it's so easy to miss something. And actually, what I'm quickly going to do is save this as tier 2, so I don't have to do that all again. Take note, Dave. I'm just joking. Alright, here we go. 14 people on the grid today. It will be 15 because Zuba is joining partway through qualifying. Let me get an image of the track up on my phone so I know what all the corner names are. Alright. Yeah, sorry Wesley, you're a little late for this one. It's Tuesday, and that can only mean one thing to racing. We had a great race last week for the season opener, with Mitch taking the win after RJ got a post-race penalty for overtaking under the safety car, sadly. So it is Mitch ahead in the leaderboard, with Harass, our reigning champion, just behind in second. So both of them, well, Mitch can't be here tonight, so that means Harass is in prime position to take the championship lead back, but LB was looking very fast last week, so we'll see if he can do the same today. Before we start, I'd just like to take a mention to our sponsors, Positive Perception Media Design Products. They do outstanding liveries for GT cars. Check them out on their Instagram. It's incredible to see their liveries, and they definitely deserve your look and follow. So let's enable everything getting ready to go. Looks like we've got some cars coming out onto the track. So KTFO is the first to come out on track. He's on the medium tyres, so we'll be looking to get a banker lap in first. And here we go. Got cameras all done. I think we're all done. So everything's good. We're ready to go. A lot of cars out on track. But KTFO in the McLaren. McLaren did not have the best start to the season last week. Double DNF for them in Portugal, so they'll be looking to make amends here at Interlagos. KTFO and Harry Bix both need to make amends. Portugal is a very difficult track. There were a lot of DNFs there. I think there were 5, so easy to do, easy to get caught out, but yeah, as I say, Brazil is a place where they can bring some points back. So we'll ride on board with KTFO as he starts his first lap on the medium tyres. A lot of cars have gone out in the mediums, actually. So braking into turn 1 very late, just after the 50-metre board. He's gone too early, and that's a spin straight off the bat for KTFO. And I think that's a bit of commentator's curse there. So we'll ride on board with Emiliano instead, as he's going to be the first one to set a lap. Randy comes through turn 3 now, onto the DRS straight, sticking to the inside of the corner. Very well done from Emiliano. Into turn 4, quite a late braking zone. He's made it stick. It's very easy to go over track limits there, so he's kept it going there. Then we come into sector 2. He's a bit wide there through those two corners. As he comes into turn 8, very nicely done. Now turn 9, you want to get on the power so early through turn 9, but you've got to be patient. And now he comes into turn 10, another slow corner. Turn 11, got to be full throttle, got to commit through there, and he's done that on the soft tyres. Down he comes to turn 12, the last technical corner, but these two kinks on the main straight count as corners. So round he comes, round turn 15 now, and to the line, hugging the wall, and it's a 1 minute 9.2 from Emiliano to set the initial pace. I think Harry Bix is going to be next across the line, and he does a 7.9, so Harry Bix sets the pace to start off with. But LB goes even faster with a 1 minute 7.8, so we could have a real battle for pole on our hands here. Rick goes P3 with a 1 minute 8.2. One Wing slots into 6th on the mediums with a 1 minute 9.4. And Cairo Racing, a newbie to APPF1. Hopefully he has a good race and a good time in his first race in the community. He lines up in P6 for now. Crozer goes P4. James McCrow in P5. And Cairo Racing, I should really shut my mouth, has now just retired, just as I said that. So, yeah, I'm going to try and refrain from complimenting anyone and wishing anyone good luck from now on, because they seem to crash as soon as I say it. But yeah, there's the first set of laps. Looks like KTFO went across the line for another lap, so we're right on board with him after he spun it at turn 1 on his first attempt. And I think Pommy Alex spun as well, but KTFO has invalidated this lap, so he's not going to go any faster. Pommy Alex is on a lap as well, wanting to set a good banker on those mediums. A 1 minute 21 is not quite the bank he was hoping for, and he's gotten the power a bit too early out of turn 10, and that's what happens. Spun all the way around, and he's going to have to be heading back to the pits, I think. Here comes Ollie Oliver, who was very fast last week, and he goes pole for now. 1 minute 7.7 from the Haas driver. Very good opening lap there. He was looking very fast last week, but chose the wrong tyres after the lobby reset, and so got slapped with a penalty by the stewards afterwards. So he'll be looking to make amends for that now. He only finished P6 though, so he's still well in contention, only 6 points behind Mitch at the top, and of course Mitch isn't here today. So Harass and LB are going to be the two drivers to beat, both on 19 points after last week. Let's see who's on a lap. Is that Emiliano looking to finish a lap? It is. No, he's coming into the pits. Okay. Is Bumblebee on a lap? One Wing? No, they're both on in laps. Is Harry Bix on a lap? He's invalidated. What about his teammate KTFO? Is he on a lap? Oh no, wrong McLaren. Okay. So Rick coming out the pits. A lot of drivers peeling in as the first wave of laps is completed. Harass, Zuber and Hartman yet to set a time. But Harass does like leaving it until the last minute, and Zuber has joined us, which is nice to see. But yeah, Harass likes to leave it till the last minute, save all his tyres, go out, set a lap, that'll do, let's go and race. That's what he usually does, so don't be surprised to see the same thing happen here. So here's Rick on an out lap now. He's P4 for now, 1 minute 8.2. He's about 5/10 down on provisional pole, so he'll be looking to improve on those soft tyres now. I'm interested to see the strategies around here. Don't be surprised to see some people go for soft medium, or alternatively medium soft. It's very difficult to do, but it is possible. Speed Alcoholic showed that a while ago. But I reckon a lot of people will also go for soft hard, and there might be some two stops in there as well. So we'll have to see how that goes in the race. But here comes Rick through turn 3 pretty well. Didn't hug the inside of the curb, so that'll have lost him maybe about half a tenth at worst. But around he comes through turn 4. He was 5 tenths up there through sector 1. So Rick looking to take provisional pole here in Tier 2. Has he had a Tier 2 pole position before? Let me check. He has, he did. Where was that? That was in the USA, last race of last season. So Rick looking to start off his season here in Season 2 with a pole position. He missed the first race in Portugal, unfortunately, but he'll be looking to make amends for that. There's more races this season than last season, so there's more time to make up for a gap like that. And yes, he does. He goes with a 1 minute 7.4, and that is a banker to set for everyone else. As Rick, the Ferrari driver, he wasn't here last week, but the young Dutchman comes in and immediately goes provisional pole. And so the likes of Madman, Ollie Oliver, LB, Harry Bix, they've got some time to find, and it looks like we may just have a top 4 here, although the ones on mediums will go on softs again, I'm sure, as KTFO has just done. As Emiliano retires from the session, it looks like he spun out at turn 3. Just there he is. So that's a shame for him. Must have spun out, hit the wall, and that's the end of his session. So unfortunate for the Williams driver there, but he's got plenty of opportunity to get that back in the race. Someone improved. I think it was James McCrow, who's just done a 1 minute 8.0. I think Pommy Alex also did a 1 minute 8.0 just then. Oh no, it must have been Pommy Alex because the Mercedes is nearer to the line. So Pommy Alex improves, goes up to P6. Very nicely done from the Mercedes, the Australian. And Harass still not out on track yet. Who else is on a lap? Pommy Alex obviously not. James McCrow. He is way down in his previous lap, so he's not going to be improving. Ollie Oliver the same. Is LB starting a lap? Or is he on a lap? He's on a lap. He's 2.5 tenths up on his previous best. It's not quite enough to beat Rick as it stands, but he's going to need a monstrous Sector 3, which pretty much consists of only 2 corners. Here he comes, 4 tenths up through Sector 2. Here he comes to the line. Can LB knock Rick off provisional pole? It's going to be very close. Randy comes down the final straight. 1 minute 7.3, and LB does take provisional pole for now. And the Korean driver, he took pole last week, and he's looking to do the same this week. He's stamping an iron fist on this championship. He didn't quite have the race he was hoping for from pole position in Portugal. But I think it's easier to control a race in Brazil than it is in Portugal. So he'll be looking to do that this time. Who is out on a lap? Looks like Crozer, so LB's teammate also on a lap. He's 6 tenths up on his previous best. So Crozer on for a 1 minute 7.6 here. That would put him P4. He looked like he took the final corner okay. Round he comes to the line. It's a 7.8, so he did lose a bit of time there, but he does improve up to P5. And I'm sure he'll be looking to do one better as well before the session is over. There's still 5.5 minutes to go as KTFO improves across the line to 1 minute 7.7, just behind Madman Ollie Oliver. 200ths between them, and McLaren 3 and 5 right now. They're looking good to make up for what was a dismal result in Portugal. Crozer is not on a lap. That looks like, is that an Alpine? It is, but he's not on a lap. Hartmann, I don't think. He's come back out on the mediums again, which is interesting. No, he's definitely not on a lap. Or is he? 49, 15, no, he's not. So he's going to be, I think, coming on to a lap now, unless he comes into the pits. There's an Aston Martin. He's going to be coming into the pits, I would have thought. Is anyone else on a lap? KTFO's finished his. Oh, Zuber. Out he comes. He's managed to join us, thankfully. Now he's on a lap. Hartmann does indeed come into the pits, so we'll watch Zuber. Let's watch Zuber as he comes around the track for his first lap of the session. What's it going to be through sector 2 as he comes up to, I think that's turn 10? Yes, it is. No. Through turn 11, need to be flat, need to commit. I think he lifted off a little bit there, so that might cost him. Comes around the final corner, a little bit wide, missed the apex. But Zuber's just going to be looking for a banker lap here. He's, I'm sure, going to go out again, or he's going to try and go out again anyway. First lap across the line, it's 1 minute 9.4, which puts him all the way down in 14th for now. So Zuber definitely wanting to improve. And we've got Rick out on track. He's on a lap. He's just a tiny bit behind his previous lap, so he needs to nail this final corner now. Round he comes. He hits the apex, but oh, and I think he's aborted that lap now. Yeah, he has. He's coming into the pits, I think. So that's a shame for Rick. I don't think he has enough time to come back out. He might do. It'll be close. It'll be very close. We've got yellow flags in sector 2. I think that was a Mercedes off. Harry Bix is not quite improving at the moment. Is that James McCrow on a lap? He's invalidated. So we're right on board with Harry Bix as he completes his lap. He's down by over a second through sector 2, so he's not going to be improving. Who's that? The other Alpha Tauri of Zuber. He's on an in lap though, I think. And Pommy Alex was definitely the one who spun. He's 11 seconds down. So who is on a lap? Madman Ollie Oliver is going to be next across the line to set a lap through sector 2. It's going to be interesting to see where his time is. Harass keeping us guessing until the final minutes. He always does, AP. He loves doing it. He saves all his tyres, comes out right at the end, sets one lap, thinks that'll do. Oh, as Man Ollie Oliver invalidates, he was really wanting to improve that lap. He knew he was down from the Delta, and he just really committed through turn 11 and just went off the track. But yeah, he does like doing that. He does like to keep us guessing. Let's ride on board with him as he does set his only lap of qualifying as usual. So down he comes towards turn 1, brakes just after the 50-meter board, hits the apex of turn 1, apex of turn 2, hugs the curb for turn 3. Very nicely done from Harass. It's looking like a good lap so far. It's a 16.6 through sector 1. I'm not sure where that is in comparison to everyone else, if I'm honest. So round he comes into sector 2. Slow part of the track, so Harass needs to hook this up really well to get a good lap. I'm keeping an eye on others as well. Looks like LB is on an out lap. Rick is on an out lap as well. I'm not sure if they can get across the line. Yeah, they can. Rick can definitely get across the line, so he'll have another lap to do. Here comes Harass to the final sector, setting his only lap of qualifying as usual, unless he goes out for another one. But he does like to do this. He saves his tyres, comes out right at the end, sets a lap, bosh, that'll do, and then gets into the race and tries to keep hold of it, and a 1 minute 7.3. That's why he can do that. First lap, goes out, all the pressure on his shoulders. If he doesn't sell a lap, he's right at the back of the field, and he bangs out a lap that's only 1/100th of a second slower than LB. So very impressive stuff from Harass. as Rick comes across the line to start his lap. I'll keep an eye on him, but I think KTFO is coming across first. He's 2/10 up through Sector 2. Where's he going to be across the line? 7.5, puts in P4 for now. James McCrow coming into the pits. I think LB is finishing off his lap, but he was 2/10 down through Sector 2. So I don't think he's going to improve on that monstrous first lap. No, it's a 7.6. So LB stays on a 7.3. Crozer can't improve. So we're looking at everyone else. It looks like Harass has... No, he's just letting someone through. That's the Haas of Madman Ollie Oliver, but he's on an out lap, so he's not going to get round in time to set another lap. Who else is on a lap? Hartman, he set his first lap on mediums. I think he invalidated the other one. So round he comes. This is his only time of the session and goes P10. So decent from Hartman, but let's watch Rick across the line. Oh, he's 1.5 seconds down. So it looks like LB is going to take pole as KTFO spins out into the wall. Was he on a lap? I think he was on a lap, so that's a shame for him. Crozer is invalidated. It's the other Aston Martin behind him. Is Ollie Oliver on a lap? He can't be. How did he get across the line in time? That's... Whoa! It doesn't matter. He's into the wall and out of the session, so Ollie Oliver will stay P6 unless Hartman can improve. No, he's coming into the pits. He's on an in-lap. So there we go. That is the end of qualifying for Tier 2. 1 second separates the top 10. Great job indeed by everyone in Tier 2. And this is going to be a close race. I mean, it always is around Brazil. You always get such close qualifying times around here. I wonder if anyone is on different setups, but it's another pole position for LBF1 by only 1/100th of a second from the reigning champion Harass, and they're level on 19 points in the championship as well. This could be a rivalry that goes all the way to the final week of the season, and I am here for it. But what a great qualifying session indeed. Rick goes P3 on his first qualifying session of the new season, so well done to the young Dutchman. The two McLarens 4 and 5 looking to make up for an abysmal week last week in Portugal as they double DNF'd. So great qualifying session to start us off as someone comes across the line to complete the session. So there we go. LB is on pole for Aston Martin with a 1:07.3. The reigning champion Harass, level on points, is just 1/100th of a second behind with only one lap set. Imagine what he could have done if he'd set more than one lap. But that's Harass. That's what he likes to do. He only sets one lap. So Rick P3 and KTFO finishes off the second row. Harry Bix and Madman Oliver next. Crozer, James McCrow, Pommy Alex puts in a decent lap. Hartman, the American, in P10. Cairo, the newbie, in P11. Not too bad from him. One Wing, Bumblebee, Zuba and Emiliano finish out the rest of the grid. So a great qualifying session. I'm just going to take a moment to take a drink because my throat is going to be killing me by the end of this race. Alright, as we wait for the race to get underway, just another quick shout out to our sponsor products. They do fantastic GT on Instagram. It's definitely worth your time. But we're waiting for the race to formation lap. I think I put it on. I bloody well hope I put it on. We'll see. I'm a bit nervous now. Oh, please don't let the lights come on. I'll be very, very sad. After all that I said I wouldn't do a Dave, and now I don't put formation lap on, please. Oh, thank God. Alright, we're all good. We're all good. Alright, let's put tyres on. Actually, position change to start off with. Telemetry on. Track map on. That's all good. Interval. Right. So LB leads us off on the formation lap. Him and Harass on the front row. I sense a Hamilton-Verstappen-esque rivalry going on here. These two right next to each other, right near each other on pace. Front two of the grid. Less than 200th of a second separating them. Both level on points coming into this race. What a battle we have on our hands here. As around they come. Emiliano lines up at the back. He's going to be looking to make up some ground on lap 1. It's Brazil, so chance of carnage, well, not carnage, we don't really get carnage in APPF1, but chance of something going wrong through turns 1, 2 and 3 is not low. And that's nothing against any of the drivers, it's just how Brazil is. It just often happens, it's so difficult to get everyone through there. So round we come. Sorry if you can hear me drinking. As they come through turn, I think that's 13, the last corner. Turn 12. And then 13 is the first kink, and then the second kink is turn 14, and the third kink is turn 15. Even though they're all flat out and shouldn't really be corners, as Harry Bix goes for a little trip across the grass on his formation lap. He'll be hoping he doesn't do that in the race. He did the same in the formation lap last week, so there is some history there for Harry Bix, but I trust him. I have faith in him not to spin this week. Both McLarens, in fact. They really need a good result after last week, so the only team on 0 points, funnily enough, but here they come, up to the line. As we get ready to start the Brazilian Grand Prix for Tier 2. 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And we're underway for the Brazilian Grand Prix. There's a little gap at the start because the spectator hosted, but we're finally off. It looks like LB got a good start. Harass got a terrible start as he gets swamped by Rick and KTFO in the McLaren. And he's just going backwards. There's a McLaren off. It's Harry Bix. What have I done? It's all my fault. Oh, I said I had faith in him, and he spins at turn 1. But everyone looks like they're through fairly comfortably. Emiliano up 4 positions, as well as Bumblebee. They've made some great starts, but KTFO up to 2nd. Rick still in 3rd, made a position on Harass, but lost one to KTFO, as Harass has gone backwards off the start here. LB leads the way from pole position for now, but KTFO right behind, looking to catch back up with a little bit of a moment out of, I think that's turn 8. As he comes into turn 9 and 10 and 11, flat out, and he's lost loads of time to LB. It looks like one wing has gone around the outside of Zuba there, so Zuba's been a bit mugged at the start. Harry Bix has gotten going again, but he's got to be careful on those hot tyres after the spin. It looks like James McCrow is right behind Crozer. Can he make a move into turn 1? LB sets the fastest lap to start off with. As Cairo Racing looks like is going round the outside of Hartman into turn 1, and the move is done before the corner. Well done there from Hartman. Emiliano's gone into the pits, so he must have had some damage. That's unfortunate. Harry Bix must have had damage as well. He's into the pits. So lots of stuff happening at the start here, but Rick is right on the back of KTFO, who's back within a second of LB again. So things calming down a little bit already, but the gap's still very small. Anything can still happen, especially at Interlagos. Coming on to the final straight, that DRS zone. Seen many a drag race to the line in real life and in esports here, as Rick gets a bit of a moment and Harass takes full advantage of that down the inside of turn 11 as round they come to the final corner, turn 12, and Harass does get the position, but Rick is using his ERS. He wants to get that back. KTFO still within a second of LB, but these two have dropped off a little bit after Rick's mistake. Emiliano gets a 5-second penalty, but here comes Rick round the outside of Harass into turn 1. He used a lot of ERS to get there, but he couldn't quite make the move stick as Harass keeps it down the inside of turn 1, and Rick has to settle for P4 for now as Ollie Oliver sets the fastest lap. He's right behind Crozer. He didn't get the best of starts, down a position, but he wants to make his way back up the field again as Bumblebee, wow, up 5 positions. He's had a monstrous start in the Alfa Romeo. And I think Alfa Romeo currently lead the constructors as well, so they need one wing to pick up some positions, but they're looking good with Bumblebee at the moment. Ollie Oliver still on the back of this train of James McCrow and Crozer. I'm not sure if it's Crozer or Krauser. I'll have to ask after the race. But these three, the closest battle at the moment, but Rick has caught up to the back of Harass again as both of them have caught up to the top 2 as well, so we've still got a battle for the lead, but it's Madman Ollie Oliver is the car to watch at the moment as he uses all his ERS down the main straight. He's got DRS as well, but so has Crozer. Down they come towards turn 1. Harass sets fastest lap, but Madman Ollie Oliver is squeezed to the outside by Crozer and backs out of that one as one wing gets past Hartmann. Looked like a simple move on the straight. Maybe Hartmann made a mistake in the last corner as KTFO's gone round. What did I say about the McLarens and their race pace, or rather just consistency? They've got so much qualifying pace in those McLarens, but they can't keep it on track for a full race. And, I mean, in this case, neither of them can keep it on track for 4 laps. So, not the start that McLaren were hoping for, as Pommy Alex is on the back of Bumblebee as well. Looked like he broke quite late there, nearly went into the back of the Haas, but Ollie Oliver, as looks like KTFO spun again, but Ollie Oliver looks to the inside of turn 10, can't quite make it as they come through turn 11 now. Ollie Oliver, a little bit of a slide there. I think he tried to get a bit too much power on to keep up with Crozer, as Crozer does make a mistake, goes very wide, and this is going to open the door for Ollie Oliver. I think he's going to get the move done before turn 1 this time. He's got DRS, does Crozer? No, he doesn't, so I think this will be plain sailing for Ollie Oliver as Harass sets another fastest lap in the hunt for LB. Has someone spun? Oh yeah, it was KTFO who was there, right, because I knew there was a car between them. Now, Ollie Oliver does get the move done on Crozer, but Crozer's looking to fight back as they come down to turn 4. He's got DRS round the outside again. This is a great battle between these two, and the Aston Martin gets back ahead again before the start of Sector 2, but Ollie Oliver using ERS. He's trying to go side by side up the hill. That's not going to work when you're already too far behind, and he does indeed back out of that one coming into Sector 2. Crozer goes wide there, but not too big a deal. Ollie Oliver seems to have the better of the Aston Martin through this twisty sector, but when it comes to the overtake, you just can't quite make it stick. And that's another great thing about Interlagos. It's really hard to make overtakes stick with the second DRS zone immediately after. As Ollie Oliver gets a bit of a moment, but he does manage to hold it. Down they come to the main straight again. He's got DRS again. It's deja vu, but this time Ollie Oliver down the inside, and he's got the move done before the corner, but Crozer will be looking to fight back again as Rick is just behind Harass. Let me look at that one. As they come onto the straight after turn 3, Crozer gets a time penalty for multiple warnings. Rick can't quite make the move on Harass because of the DRS ahead, and Crozer doesn't have the speed on Ollie Oliver. Maybe that mistake through turn 3 got him the penalty and also put him too far behind. But here are the top 3 as they come to Sector 2. It was a great catch from Ollie Oliver indeed, and it's gotten the position up to P5, so good tidings for the Haas driver. But it's these 3 are the ones to watch, right next to each other, pretty much within a second of each other, all 3 of them. It's LB, Harass and Rick. Aston Martin, Mercedes and Ferrari all right with each other, and they're going to be pushing each other right to the end. KTFO was in it, and KTFO has in fact DNF'd now, so that's another 0-pointer for McLaren, unfortunately. But Harass, sorry, I switched to the wrong car. Harass goes down the inside of LB as they approach turn 1. He's made the move stick for now, but LB's going to have DRS on the next straight after this turn 3. He's using ERS. How much does Harass have? Almost none. LB has 80% left in the tank, and down he goes down the inside towards turn 4. Can Harass fight back? He goes for the cut back, but he can't quite make it stick, and LB keeps the position for now, but Rick is looking to take advantage now. He can see, and Harry Bix has retired. It's another double DNF for McLaren. Oh no, disaster for the Papaya team. Within 7 laps, both of them are out of the race again. Oh, I mean, that promotes Emiliano up to 13th, so he'll be happy with that, but after a little bit of a shambles of lap 1, Harry Bix leaves the session, but it's these 3 to watch again. Rick comes through the last corner. It's been great racing so far. Hasn't been any egregious incidents from what I've seen anyway. As they come down to the main straight, Rick's got DRS. Harass has fallen back a bit from LB. Has LB used a bit more ERS? Maybe. But Harass very low on the battery at the moment. He's saving it up though, as Rick looks to go on the attack once more. Through turn 3, down towards turn 4, but it's just not enough pace, and Rick's not looking to make the overtake. He wants to work with the Mercedes perhaps, just to make sure they're still keeping up with LB. He doesn't want to lose sight of that lead as Ollie Oliver loses a position and cruises into the wall, and he's retired. Oh, I didn't quite see what happened, but it looked like an incident through turn 4, and there's a virtual safety car out. It is my fault, yeah. I mean, I said that I hope they can have a good race today, because it didn't go well last time, and, well, it's happened again. Double DNF for McLaren. So, hopefully they can get back on track next week, as a full course safety car is now out. So, interesting to see how many of these cars pit. I should think the top 3 will all peel in. LB's in, Harass is in, Rick is in, yep. So, those 3 all in. James McCrow comes in, Ollie Oliver, Bumblebee's in, I think the whole grid. No, Cairo Racing stays out. So he's going to be leading the race as he comes across the line for lap 9. I think that's a mistake, but we'll see. One Wing also stays out. Is he on the mediums? I should change this to tyre. There we go. So yeah, One Wing's on the mediums, so that does make sense for him to stay out. Crow's unlucky, yeah, he was racing really well. He was up in P5 pretty comfortably, but yeah, that's really cost him. And Cairo Racing has been disqualified from the session for ignoring yellow flags. So that's not the way the newbie would have wanted his race to end, but that's the way it has ended. I'm not sure what happened there, but very unlucky for him. Hartman's also stayed out on the soft, so One Wing and Hartman, the only 2 drivers to stay out on track for now under the safety car. So One Wing leads the race, with Hartman just behind in P2 and LB in P3. LB, Harass and Rick. LB and Rick on the softs, they're on the same strategy. Harass has gone on to the mediums. Can you take the mediums 27 laps? Probably not. I don't think. Probably not. But you never know. I mean, Rick and LB are on are both on the softs, so they're going for the 2-stop for sure. James McCrow, Zuba and Emiliano have gone onto the hards. The safety car is perfect time for Emiliano, as Hartman now comes into the pits. So he's decided staying out was not the right thing to do, and he's going to come in now for fresh tyres. Tommy Alex also on the mediums, and everyone else has stayed on the softs. But One Wing it is who leads the race on those 9-lap-old mediums. Hartman says, my ERS is stuck, does anyone know how to turn it off? Well, hopefully. No, it's still on. Do you have a button for it? Did you forget to... Wait, no, that... I mean, if you have the button for it, obviously press it, but... I think it's probably more complicated than that. So maybe... I'm not sure, mate. Have you got a button bound to it? Ah, there we go. It seems to be off now, so I think he's fixed the issue. Hopefully. So, yeah, round we come in the safety car. Google says unplug it. Oh, it's back on again. Oh, no. Well, Tia has the voice of Google. Google says unplug the wheel, but I'm not sure that's a good idea, because that will probably end up with you on AI and with you getting a 10-second penalty for using AI, so... I think for now you might just have to struggle, Hartman, I'm afraid. But that's a huge shame. It always sucks to have a technical fault ruin your race. I've certainly had that happen to me before. But yeah, James McCrow, the only one with a penalty so far. Everyone else keeping it clean for now. Safety car comes around for another lap. Hartman's into the pits again, wanting to fix that issue, I'm pretty sure. Or maybe he's unplugged his wheel, like Tia said. Maybe he's going to try and get it back again. Fingers crossed for you, Hartman. Hopefully you can get it back. He's gone into the mediums now. So yeah, don't be afraid to give your predictions in the chat as we're on lap 11 under a safety car now. Things have started to calm down. So who do you think is going to win the race? Where do you think the podium is going to be? I'm interested to hear your thoughts. I think it's between these three, personally. Unless one of them has a terrible disaster, I think it's going to be these three on the podium. Rick, Harass and LB, but I'm interested to see any opposing opinions, especially with the different strategies. Harass on the mediums, I'm not sure if he's going to stay on those to the end. It would be one hell of a haul, but we'll have to find out. Rick and LB definitely can't take the softs to the end. So as the safety car comes in, so that means one wing now becomes the effective safety car. And looks like he's punched it. He's already punched it as the safety car peels into the pits. He's caught LB out a bit there. And he's definitely caught Harass out as Rick now looks to go down the inside of Harass as we get back up to racing again. He brakes later than the Mercedes into turn 1. Gets the move done. Harass, of course, on the slower tyre. And Rick, just with that superior grip, stays ahead and takes P3. But they've lost so much time to LB. We've got yellow flags in sector 1. Someone spun, but it looks like everyone's still going, so hopefully it's all sorted. But yeah, great move from Rick. Opportunistic move at the safety car restart. Harass got caught out by one wing going early. And now he's lost the position to the Ferrari as LB looks to clear one wing as soon as possible. One wing, the only one not to pit under the safety car. He's stayed out in those mediums. He's committing to whatever strategy he had at the beginning. So here he comes, one wing down the main straight, LB in tow, and Rick is right behind as well. So if LB makes a mistake, Rick will be there to punish him, as Pommy Alex as well. On the back of Zuba, makes a mistake, and oh my god, how has he kept that out of the wall? What a save from Pommy Alex. Keeps the car out of the wall somehow, wow. That's going to save a lot of points for the Mercedes driver, but here comes LB down into turn 4. Can he get one wing on the brakes? No, he can't. One wing sticks it round the outside, and one wing is fighting this. He's not going to let LB just go past. and LB's going to have to fight a bit harder to take the race lead back, and he's losing time all the time to Rick and Harass behind. Harass has caught back up as well on those mediums. He's going to be loving to see this battle in front. As LB goes for a move, as the switchback move on the very unconventional corner to try and take One Wing, and he does it again through turn 10, a switch back through turn 11 now, and One Wing can't fight that one. And what a great move from LB to take the race lead back, and now Rick is going to be looking to follow him through, as One Wing is going to be swallowed up by the cars behind now on those old mediums. Here comes Rick. One Wing's got a lot of pace. They're both using a lot of ERS. One Wing's got a lot less, but Rick hangs it around the outside. He's going to have the inside for turn 2, keeps it stuck, and takes P2 back, and back on the hunt for LB. And now Harass is looking to get them as well. He can see the red flashing light on the back of One Wing's car. That means he's out of battery. Here comes Harass round the outside, does the switcheroo through turn 4. They're going to be side by side up the hill, but One Wing backs out, and Harass up into P3. So the top 3 back to where they were before. Rick right behind LB. Those two on the softs. They're going to be stopping again. Harass, I'm not sure. We'll have to find out. Emiliano gets himself a time penalty for track limits. So that's unfortunate for him, as Ollie Oliver now looks to clear the struggling Alfa Romeo on those 13 lap old mediums. But One Wing is committing. He's going for this strategy. He's going for an alternate strategy. He wants to have a go at catching out all these other drivers. As here comes Ollie Oliver down the main straight. I'm going to be watching Rick first though, because he's sets the fastest lap, goes down the inside of LB into turn 1. The young Dutchman takes the place for now. LB goes for the switchback move. He's going to have DRS into turn 4. He's right behind. It looks like Ollie Oliver got past One Wing, and now his teammate's behind, but here comes LB down the inside into turn 4. Hartman's left the session. It's so unfortunate for him. Maybe he's looking to get his wheel back and get his ERS button back, but LB takes the place back from Rick, and Harass is going to be looking at these two battling and thinking, keep it going boys, I'm catching up on these mediums. I shouldn't be, and I'm going to be much faster towards the end of the race if this carries on. So Rick still right on the back of LB. Ollie Oliver as well in P4, looking to chase after Harass. Harass may be vulnerable in those mediums, but he's going to be better at the end if he does stop again. Bumblebee just behind as well. Rick now onto the main straight. He's catching after LB round the outside up into turn 1. He's got the move done before the corner, has he? Yes, he has. And down they come towards turn 1, and Rick back in front. Ollie Oliver now sets the fastest lap, so Harass will be looking behind, and I don't know if he's going to fight the Haas that much as they come into turn 4. Here comes the Haas. Harass is on a different strategy. He doesn't really need to fight, but he does. He tries to hang it around the outside, but Ollie Oliver beats him on the brakes with the superior grip on those softs and gets up into P3. But don't count Harass out. He's on the alternate strategy, of course. And Bumblebee will be looking to clear the Mercedes as soon as possible as well. He's gotten past his teammate on those old medium tyres. So this could be a race that's won on strategy as it stands. We've got 4 cars on the same strategy looking to get their way back up the field. Everyone's very close, all of the top 5 all within a second of each other, but Bumblebee now on the back of Harass, wanting to clear the Mercedes as soon as he can. Different strategies, and he doesn't want to get held up, but Harass has got the DRS, so he's just wasting battery, Bumblebee, as he comes into turn 1. Harass has still got plenty left, just over 50%. Bumblebee down on 25. He's going to use it now as he comes into turn 4. He wants to get past the Mercedes. Here he comes. Is Harass going to use it? Yes, he is. And Harass is going to keep that position because Bumblebee has no battery to attack with, as Ollie Oliver tries to go down the inside of LB as he comes side by side now with the Aston Martin up the hill round the outside of turn 5. Can he do it? No, he can't. LB keeps the place. LB on the superior battery as well. Rick saving his battery now. as he is watching these two cars battle behind. But this is great racing between all of these guys. Everyone is so close, all of the top 5 so close to each other. One Wing is dropping back on those old mediums, but we expected him to. I'm still watching to see what his strategy is, because I'm not sure at this point. And Hartmann's power just cut off. Oh no. I'm sorry, man. That sucks. But we've got to keep an eye on the race as LB now round the outside of Rick. Down he comes. He doesn't even use any battery, and Rick lets him go. He's going to have DRS into turn 4. He's got Ollie Oliver just behind to think about as well, but Rick now on the back of the Aston Martin. He needs to make this move done before turn 4 again. Here he comes down the inside. LB beats him on the brakes, but Rick has the superior line as LB hangs it around the outside. What a move as they go side by side up the hill. I'm going to cut back to the onboard again. Rick round the outside of turn 5. Ollie Oliver's just watching and waiting, but Rick can't make the move stick, and LB keeps P1 for now. What brilliant battling between these guys, as Bumblebee's softs, I think, are starting to drop off. All of these guys' softs are starting to drop off now, because Harass is back with them. Bumblebee's dropping off. Less over a second behind Harass now, and Harass might have beaten them on strategy here. He's on the mediums, and he's got the pace to keep up. Yes, they're fighting, but he really shouldn't be with them unless those soft tyres are starting to crumble, and that might be what's happening as Ollie Oliver looks to keep the gap close to Rick as they come into turn 1, and now into turn 2 and 3, down to 4. Everyone else is quite far away, but James McCrow is right behind One Wing, so let's watch this for a second as One Wing on those old tyres, now vulnerable to the Alpha Tauri on the hards. Down he comes, down the inside, dummies to the outside, but goes down the inside in the end, and James McCrow makes the move stick. One Wing has to concede, and those old mediums are not taking One Wing very much further, I don't think. As now on to lap 19, we're just about halfway through the race. Bloody hell. My voice is already quite hoarse, but One Wing now 3-second penalty for track limits, and that's not going to help him in his quest to make this strategy work. I'm going to take a quick drink. Oops. Please let me know, by the way, if there's any like extra feedback on the mic, because I can easily fix it. If I know it's happening. But there's yellow flags in sector 2. I think is that Emiliano round? Yes, it is. At least he's not. At least he's still in the session. But here we come. Rick right on the back of LB. He really caught up through the first DRS zone. What's the battery situation? They're both on pretty much similar as Rick round the outside through turn 4. The young Dutchman takes the lead again. What a battle this is between these guys. LB just behind the Ferrari still, as Harass has dropped back from these top 3 now, so maybe the mediums aren't quite on the level of the softs yet, but it's only a matter of time, as LB and Ollie Oliver was looking to take advantage as well, but he's just going to be watching and waiting in that Haas, waiting for them to make a mistake and fight just that little bit too hard. But these guys are racing really well at the moment, as Pommy Alex right on the back of One Wing as well, as One Wing continues to drop back through the field. Harass back within a second of these top 3. Just need to take a quick drink. As here comes Ollie Oliver now. He's got the DRS, so has LB, but he doesn't have any battery left. LB still has 40%. Ollie Oliver has nothing to attack with unless a dive bomb down the inside. Well, it wasn't really a dive bomb. He was there, but he couldn't make the move stick. And good racing from the two of them, as LB has dropped back a bit from Rick to try and defend against the Haas, but the Haas still just has nothing to attack with. We've got yellow flags again through sector 1. Is that One Wing has spun? On those old mediums, he's looking to take them as far as he possibly could. But at 20 laps, he has spun the car, and I think that alternate strategy has now come back to bite him. He led the race through the safety car, and he was dropping back, but he was keeping the mediums on the road, and wanting to make that one stop work, maybe going medium to soft, but he's spun it, and I think that's the end of that. Here they come again. Harass within a second of these top three once again, as Madman Ollie Oliver now just 3/10 behind LB, 2/10 as he comes round. LB wasn't expecting him to go on the attack this early. Rick peels into the pits. I think he's going to go on the mediums up until the end of the race, but here comes Madman Oliver. Ollie Oliver. Looks to the inside of LB but can't make it stick. It's just the same story again. He has nothing to attack with in the battery, and LB can just freely defend from the Haas. But now he's got DRS, but he does back out before the corner this time, the Haas, as Pommy Alex gets a 3-second penalty. Rick has indeed come out on the mediums. Quick pause. And yeah, round they come through Sector 2 again. Ollie Oliver still just behind LB. LB, none of these top 4 or 5 cars have been able to breathe this entire race, really. They've always had either a car in front of them or a car right behind them. And they've all raced so well. They've all kept it very clean and very fair, and it's been great to watch. And which one is any of them going to respond to Rick diving into the pits? Yes, Ollie Oliver is. Harass, of course, stays out in those mediums, but Ollie Oliver comes into the pits. He's going to put on the mediums to the end. LB stays out, so he's looking to do a bit of a Lewis Hamilton from the US Grand Prix last weekend. And stay out, maybe try and overcut. James McCrow now gets another 3-second time penalty. I think he already had one. But Ollie Oliver, where's he going to come out? He's going to come out just behind the Ferrari. He's coming out the pits now. So yeah, Ollie Oliver out behind the Ferrari, and Rick has made that undercut work. Look at the power of that undercut. 2 seconds he's gained to Ollie Oliver from that pit stop. And perfect strategy from Rick. The mediums, of course, his tyres are going to be dropping off a lap before everyone else's, but he has made that undercut work perfectly. And now LB, he's not going to be, unless he's being fed information by Crozer, he's not going to know the power of the undercut quite yet. Is he going to respond? Is he coming in? Harass is now behind him, and yes, LB does come into the pits. Where's he going to come out, I wonder? That's going to be interesting. Harass now leads the Brazilian Grand Prix on those medium tyres. Is he going to go to the end, or is he going to come onto the softs towards the end of this race? LB puts the new tyres onto the mediums. Emiliano gets another 3-second time penalty, but we're interested to see, where is Rick going to come out? He sets the fastest lap on those new mediums. Where is LB? He's just coming out the pit lane now. Where's Ollie Oliver? It's going to be close between them. Ollie Oliver comes through turn 2 and 3. Here's the Aston Martin. Watch your left-hand side of your screen. There's the Aston Martin, and he's come out ahead. That must have been a monstrous in-lap from LB, or either that or Ollie Oliver made a mistake. But LB has gotten out ahead of the Haas again, and Ollie Oliver will be getting sick of that cognizant rear wing in front of his helmet. He's been watching it for a long... Well, sorry, Aston Martin on the back of the rear wing. But yeah, he'll be getting sick of the sight of that towards the end of this Grand Prix. But again, what's Harass going to do? Is he going to come in again, or is he going to try and take those mediums all the way to the end? That's going to be so tricky. As Rick goes for a spin, he's into the grass, the young Dutchman. As that's not a reset to track. I believe the game does that automatically if you spin there. So yeah, if that gets reported, I'm pretty sure that was automatic. But Ollie Oliver now sets the fastest lap, so Rick is now out of this battle for the race win. Unfortunately, after a spin, Bumblebee comes into the pits. Is he going to be ahead or behind Rick? It's not going to matter really, because he's on the softs and he should be able to get past. But now here comes Ollie Oliver on the Aston Martin yet again, down to turn 4. The Aston Martin beats him on the brakes. LB sends him round the outside, and Ollie Oliver looks to get the switch back again up the hill, side by side. Ollie Oliver round the outside, but it hasn't worked at any point in this Grand Prix round the outside of turn 5, and it hasn't worked here either. We've seen it, what, 4, 5, 6 times over the Grand Prix so far, and every time the car on the outside has had to concede. So it's going to take some incredible bravery to make a move like that stick. But Harass has stayed out. Oh no, he's into the pits. Harass So he's into the pits. He's going to be going onto the softs, I'm sure. But here comes LB and Ollie Oliver down the main straight. Zuber as well. Don't forget the guys on hards. James McCrow, Zuber, they'll be looking to go to the end. So these two are going to have to clear them as Harass comes into the pits. He's out on the softs. LB goes round the outside of Zuber and he's cleared him into turn 1 fairly comfortably. And Ollie Oliver's done the same. He went round the outside. I didn't even see that. What an opportunistic move by Ollie Oliver, taking advantage of Zuber having to go defensive. And round the outside he goes. And Harass comes out of the pits on the soft tyres. How far behind is he? He's about 3 seconds off those front two, LB and Ollie Oliver. So Pommy Alex is probably going to have to come in as well, but James McCrow is going to stay out, I'm sure. So I think he's got 6 seconds of penalties. Let me just check that. Yes, he does. So James McCrow, I don't think he's in the mix really to win the race, but he could be in the mix for a top 5 result for sure on that alternate strategy with the hards. What's the penalties like? I'll show them for a bit longer, sorry. So James McCrow on 6, Pommy Alex on 3, Miliano on 6, One Wing on 3, and Hartman on 5, I'm sure, for speeding in the pit lane. Another penalty for Miliano, just as I say it. So he's up to 9 now. But at least he's still in the race. We love to see Emiliano finish races because he had a bit of a dismal season in both tiers last season, as Bumblebee now sets the fastest lap on those fresh softs. Expect Zuber to maybe do the same, but Harass, sorry, not Zuber, Harass, to set the fastest lap on those fresh softs. He's catching those the top two, 2.6, 2.5. Now the gap to Ollie Oliver as they both get past Pommy Alex, who might have, I think, gone a bit wide into turn 4, or maybe just let them through. But now LB and Madman Ollie Oliver still right on each other, but Harass on those soft tyres is looking to chase after them. 1.8 if you include Pommy Alex. It's coming down the gap. Pommy Alex has let his teammate through. I'm sure that was team orders. As Harass goes on the chase, 1.4 to the top 2. There's still around 10 laps to go here. What an ending to this Grand Prix we have in store. James McCrow still leads the Grand Prix on those hards, but those 6 seconds of penalties are really going to cost him. He might have had a shot to win the Grand Prix if it weren't for those penalties, but as it stands, he's not going to be in the mix. As Pommy Alex comes into the pits, Ollie Oliver tries to go for a dummy down to the inside of turn 1, but he can't get the move done. LB was positioned his car very well to stop that from happening. But now Ollie Oliver down on the run towards turn 4. He's got the DRS. He goes round the outside. He's squeezed nearly onto the grass by LB. But LB, what a defensive performance this is from the man in the Aston Martin. But all this is doing is letting Harass catch up quicker and quicker on those fresh softs. And those two are going to be looking in their mirrors for a Mercedes of the reigning champion Harass as he comes to try and win this race. To send himself up to the top of the standings in Tier 2. Ollie Oliver still right behind, but Harass now within a second of the front two, if we don't include James McCrow with his 6 seconds of penalties. That's such a shame for the AlphaTauri. He really could have had a shot if it weren't for those penalties. But now Ollie Oliver again is looking with DRS, but again he's got no battery left. LB's still got some to defend. He goes for the inside, but then dummies down to the outside. LB beats him on the brakes. Wrong car, sorry. But Madman Ollie Oliver sticks it around the outside, but he had the inside for turn 3, but LB just ran him out of road. And now down they come towards turn 4 again, and now Harass is taking the opportunity. Can he get both in once? In one straight? LB, no! There's a contact and Harass is round. I think there might have been some lag involved there, but disaster for the Mercedes as he drops down to 7th now. He's behind 3 cars. There might have been some lag involved there. Harass hails from New Zealand and his car is a bit, well, not really jumpy, but it's a bit sort of glitchy. And I think that might have contributed there, but I'm sure the stewards will be having a look at that one. But it's LB now in prime position to win this race. Harass is in damage control mode after that as LB goes onto the grass. I'm not sure if he has ABS on. If he doesn't, he will have almost certainly locked up there. But Ollie Oliver taking advantage of that. Bumblebee goes down a couple of positions and Harass up 2. So Harass is already making ground to try and get that damage control back on as Ollie Oliver goes around the outside. Pretty simple move, and the Haas now into, well, what is basically P1 with James McCroe's 6 seconds of penalties, but you never know, one of these guys could still get a penalty as here comes LB. Of course, Ollie Oliver very low on ERS, and LB will now see that with the flashing red light on the back of the Haas, but LB is running low himself from defending. And Rick, you know what, he's 4 seconds behind, there's still 7 laps to go. These two, if they keep battling and they keep slowing each other down, Rick could be back in the mix to win the race. And so could Harass, to be honest. On those soft tyres, he could still get back onto the front too, and still have a go at winning this race. But down they come. Ollie Oliver still in the race lead. James McCroe does technically lead the race, but again, he has 6 seconds of penalties. So right now, he is down in P3 as it stands, but he could be on for a podium, you know, if he keeps it clean. But LB is not using any battery. He knows that the Haas is low. He knows from the red light on the back. And with 6 laps to go now, it's do or die for these two drivers, and they need to make sure they don't get caught as well. 3.3 seconds. Wasn't that 4 seconds the last time I said it about that gap? So Rick, I think, is catching up, but he's got himself a 3-second time penalty, and that's going to drop him right out of contention for the top 2. And that's a disaster for the Ferrari. That's 2 disasters now. The first was the spin, the second is that time penalty. But there's still time, still 5 laps, and when you're battling hard, it's all the easier to exceed track limits, so we could see more penalties to come. Bumblebee in the mix as well, but Harass now just within a second of Rick, so keep an eye on that as well. But this is the battle to watch. It's these two. LB, again, he can see the flashing red light. Ollie Oliver is all out of battery, and LB doesn't even need battery. He's got the DRS, and the struggling Haas. Oh, he nearly goes round, but he saves it. He hits the curb in turn 1, and he saves the car. The Haas goes back through. Another time penalty for Emiliano, but here comes LB down the inside. He's going to use the battery now to try and get through. He brakes late. There was a bit of contact there. Ollie Oliver sticks it around the outside. More contact. Some wheel banging here between these two. They're fighting so hard for the race win. I don't think there's any damage for either of them. If there is, it will be Ollie Oliver who has damage to that end plate. I can't see any from the spectator view, so I think he's fine. But wow, what a close race this is between these two. They're fighting so hard. There's still 4 laps to go. And Rick now within 2.2. Harass within 2.7. There's still time for him to come back in that Mercedes and win this race. He's definitely on for a podium. Well, maybe not definitely. James McCroe's got 6 seconds, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. He's probably going to be within range of James McCroe to get that podium, but Harass will he played the strategy perfectly to go on the mediums after the safety cars. James McCroe gets himself another 3-second time penalty, and that's going to really cost him. And Ollie Oliver is now losing ground to LB, as LB has used all of his battery to get Ollie Oliver out of that DRS range. So LB now pushing for the race win. Pushing to keep Ollie Oliver behind as Harass has spun again. Oh, I don't know if it was he went for a move on Rick and the same thing happened, or if he spun on his own, but it's just disaster after disaster for the Mercedes. He played the strategy so well, but these last sort of 7, 8 laps or so, it's just gone from bad to worse for the Mercedes. And now he's down in P7, and he's looking at really a best finish of P5. How many penalties does Bumblebee have? 3 seconds. So yeah, Harass is looking at best at P5 here, and now things have calmed down as Ollie Oliver's losing ground every lap to LB. No one is in DRS range now, so I can take a little bit of a breather and have a drink as we head on to the last 3 laps of the race. Harass now on the back of Zuba. He needs this position. Zuba doesn't have a time penalty, so Harass does need to overtake him on track. And Bumblebee only has 3 seconds. It's going to be... he's going to have a job on his hands to overtake the Alfa Romeo on penalties. But yeah, it's not gone well. It's not gone well for Harass in these last few laps. On the softs, he was looking like the favourite to win this race, but all went wrong at the end. And I'm going to change the gap to leader, because James McCrow is still on for a podium. He needs to be... Harass gets past Zuba, in fact. I think that was well before turn 1, it was indeed. So Harass up into P6. But yeah, James McCrow, he's got 6 seconds of penalties. Rick has 3 seconds. So he needs to be 3 seconds or more ahead of Rick by the end of the race. And with 1.5 laps to go, he just needs to keep it going. Keep it on track. Don't make any more mistakes. Don't get yourself another time penalty. Oh, he's on 9 seconds. I thought he was on 6. Ah, in that case, the podium is out of reach, but he still could be on for P4. So it's been a good race for James McCrow, but I mean, without those penalties, he would have won the race. On that alternate one-stop strategy, he played the strategy really well, and he could have won the race, but those penalties can really cost him. As Rick now on the back of Madman Ollie Oliver, who's really struggling in that Haas to make any ground. And here he comes, the Ferrari down the inside on the last lap as LB gets himself a 3-second time penalty. I don't think it's really going to matter in the grand scheme of things. Actually, it is, because it's going to mean Ollie Oliver could go up into P2. He's already going to be ahead of Rick because of his penalty. But it's going to be interesting to see. Ollie Oliver still doesn't have a penalty. LB now got 3 seconds on the last lap. There's no pressure on him, and he got himself the penalty, the last warning. He'll be gutted if he loses that position to Ollie Oliver. But as it stands, Ollie Oliver is 3.3 behind. He needs a monstrous final corner here. He's going to use all of his ERS. He's going to have the DRS. Does LB have any DRS? No, he doesn't. So Ollie Oliver, he needs the DRS from Rick. He needs a monstrous final straight. James McCrow comes across the line, but it's LB who wins the Grand Prix. And Madman Oliver does get P2, but he can't quite get the race win. 0.3 seconds to LB. So close for the Haas driver. Maybe he was backing off at the end, and maybe he'll regret that now. But it's LB who takes the win. Harass, a very disappointing P6 after what really could have been a race win, but maybe New Zealand lag not helping his cause. But I'm sure we'll have a look at that in stewards. I wonder if Ollie Oliver got a bit of wing damage. He might well have done. I couldn't see any on the view. Both his end plates are still there, and it's all looking good there. But the game might say otherwise. But yeah, Ollie Oliver, 3/10 from his first race win in APPF1. But it is LB who goes from pole to the race win. But I mean, that is far from the whole story. What a race. So there's LB on the podium with Ollie Oliver, and the young Dutchman Rick in the Ferrari gets a podium on his first race of the season, so well done to him. But it's the Korean driver who wins his first race in APPF1. Well done to LB by 0.3 of a second. So there we go. Final race results. And it's LB who takes the race win just ahead of Madman Ollie Oliver in P2. Rick in the Ferrari gets P3 in his first race of the season from third to third, but again, doesn't tell the whole story. He had a spin, and without that spin, I think he would have won the race. James McCrow, P4. After going on that alternate strategy, the one stop, everyone else went for the two stop. James McCrow decided the one stop was better, and he was right, I think, because he didn't really have perhaps not top 4 pace, but top 4 result for him. He'll be very happy with that, but maybe a bit disappointed he didn't get the race win because the penalties did cost him in the end. Bumblebee P5 with fastest lap, and Harass a disappointing P6 for the reigning champion. But there you go, there are the race results, and there is round 2 of Season 2 of Tier 2, lots of 2s there, over and done with. So final mention to our sponsor, Positive Perception Media Design Products. Do please check them out on Instagram, give them a follow. They do some incredible GT car liveries, and definitely worth your time to have a look at. So thank you for watching race 2 of this season of Tier 2, and I think we're going to have a rivalry between Harass and LB to go all the way to the end here. So, and maybe Ollie Oliver up there as well. So again, thank you for watching. I've been Ghost, and goodbye.